watching series. I am an avid Netflix and Hulu watcher. I always like to know like what the new show is, what everybody's watching, and then also find some things of my own that I can recommend to other people. So I have a whole playlist of these on my channel. I'll try to remember to link it down below if you want to watch the other ones that I've made. But in every one of these Netflix videos, I always have some sort of adult beverage, and I try to make it different every time. I used to just do wine, but within the last few that I've done, I try to make it something different every time. So it's the first Netflix video of 2021. New Year's, as I'm just filming this, was less than a week ago. So we're gonna do some Prosecco. Prosecco is like sparkling wine. It's kind of like champagne. You pop a cork just like you would a champagne bottle. I was going to do it on camera, but we know how that goes. Sometimes you never know. It can be unpredictable, and I'm sitting on top of a rug, and you know, this is my mother's house, and I'm not trying to lose my life, so I did it over the sink. But it's nice and chilled. If you saw my What I Got for Christmas video, you may recognize this. I said I was gonna drink it on New Year's, and I did not, so I drank something else, and so I was like, perfect, we're gonna do it for a Netflix video. So I have my champagne flute here, and we're gonna have a mini late New Year's celebration while we talk about Netflix shows. So I'm gonna pour it, and we'll get started. I love that sound. Alright, so it's a mini bottle, but I'm not planning on drinking the whole thing, so we'll see how far we get. Alright, so cheers. And I'll take a sip. It's good. It's not too dry. It's very good. I'm normally not a huge, like, regular champagne drinker. Not normally my thing, but every once in a while. Okay, so I have my list here on my phone, and I feel like the last video I did was maybe longer of a list, but I'm going to be looking down and referring to my list as we go. I'm like making a mental note to start writing notes when I write down a movie or a show, just so I can remember what it's about, because if it's been a while, I'm like not gonna remember, but I think I'll be okay. So first up, we have a movie that I believe is a Netflix original, and it is called Rebecca, starring Armie Hammer and Lily James. And I had first heard about it because I follow Armie Hammer on Instagram. Back in the day, I had like a brief, weird little obsession with him. And so I followed him back then, and I still follow him now. He was in, if you've ever seen the movie Call Me By Your Name, he's pretty well known for that film, with Timothy Chalamet, I believe you say his name like that. So I knew about it because I saw him posting like little teases and stuff on his Instagram. I was like, okay, that's interesting, and I like Lily James too. So I was interested, and then one day, I guess the day or the day after it was released, it was like number 1 or number 2 on Netflix. Like, you know how they have their top 10 ranking. So I watched it, and it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. I would watch it again. That's like how I deem whether something is good or not, is whether I'd watch it again. I would watch it again. It's basically about Lily James's character, who she's not very well off. She's like someone's personal assistant, and she meets Armie Hammer, who is very rich, very like well known, I guess. It's set like way back in, do I want want to say the 50s, something like that, 60s maybe. And so she meets him, they hit it off. He proposes. I'm not going to give everything away, but he proposes. She goes back to his estate, and they're a newlywed couple. They're learning how to live life together. But in his big like estate, he has workers, maids, and butlers, and all that. And they are used to his ex-wife, who had passed away. Her name is Rebecca. And so secrets start to come to light, and Lily James's character, who her character's name escapes me right now, but she learns what his relationship with Rebecca was actually like behind closed doors, and they dive into how she died and why she died, and it's very good. It's a little dark, kind of, and it definitely has its creepy moments, I would say. Maybe that's just me, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. And I think Armie Hammer is a great actor. I still like him. Like, watching this movie reminded me of why I liked him back in the day. So I wouldn't say it's like a lighthearted romantic film at all, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm almost positive it's still on Netflix. I don't see why it wouldn't be. It hasn't been up there that long. So if you want to watch that, go right ahead. That is Netflix. I call this a Netflix series, but I'm also going to go into like Hulu and Amazon Prime and stuff. The next film I watched with some of my best girlfriends one night when we had a movie night, and we like baked cookies, and it was really cute. And we needed to find a movie to watch, and they wanted to watch a horror movie, and I said no because I don't do horror movies. So this was like our compromise. It's called The Silence. So it was more of like a suspense thriller, but not exactly horror. And it stars Stanley Tucci, and who else is in that movie? Kiernan Shipka. You would know her face if you saw her. And Stanley Tucci. So it's basically about, I'm gonna read you the synopsis because I have it right here. So it says, when the world is under attack from creatures who hunt their human prey by sound, a teenager who lost her hearing at 13 and her family seek safety in a remote refuge. However, they discover a cult who are eager to exploit her heightened senses. This movie is trippy, and it was like not the movie to watch in 2020 because we were like, alright, like at the time there were a couple months left of 2020, and we were like, alright, what else is coming? Is this coming? So basically, these creatures, they looked like really big, ugly bats, and they took over the world from underground. They were like accidentally released or something, and they thrive off of sound. So if you made even a little noise, they would find you and they would attack you and I guess like eat you. So it was kind of creepy. There were a couple moments that'll make you jump. And the guy from My Big Fat Greek Wedding is in it. What's his name? He was the husband. I don't remember. I'm not gonna remember his name. He's in it too. And but the movie just gets weirder and weirder as time goes. Like it said, they meet a cult, and they like try to take over the family and like what's the word I'm looking for? Like convert them into their cult following. It's just like my friends and I were like, what are we watching right now? Like, what is this? It just kept getting weirder and weirder and weirder. I don't necessarily know if I would watch it again. However, I would recommend it to others just to watch once. Just watch it and like see what you think. I think we found that on Netflix. I think it's there. You can search for it. performance. And I just love Stanley Tucci. Like, just as a side note, I'm a big fan of him. I think he can play any role. I've seen him play straight men. I've seen him play gay men. I've seen him... The throat gurgles are starting. Oh no, I'm not even gonna bother to cut them out. I've seen him just so many different characters, and he is fantastic at them all. He is believable in them all, and I love him. So, the next one is, so a lot of these I watched in December, so there are some cheesy Christmas movies in here. You gotta watch them. I don't know, am I the only one? Like, I know that they're bad, and yet I'm gonna watch them anyway. It's what you gotta do. So, the first Christmas movie I watched, it's called Holiday. This one is on Netflix. It stars Emma Roberts, and what is his name? He's an Australian dude that kind of looks like Chris and Liam Hemsworth. What is his name? He's very attractive. Luke Bracey is his name. If you know who that is. He's another one where I'm sure if you saw his face, you would know who he is. And it's basically about two single people in their mid to upper 20s who, you know, they're always asked by their family during the holidays, why are you single, yada yada yada. And so these two people meet each other, and they come up with an agreement to be each other's date for every holiday, like down to St. Patrick's Day, like even the smaller ones to the bigger ones like New Year's and Christmas, so that they don't have to spend it alone, and so that they have someone to like bring home with their family. But they're not exactly, like, they're not in a relationship, they just have an agreement. And so of course, I mean, it's predictable, feelings develop and they become attracted to each other and all that good stuff. And you can kind of guess like how the movie goes. I have a love-hate relationship with Emma Roberts. Like, sometimes I really like her, other times she, dare I say, kind of annoys me. Does that mean? Oh no. But I enjoyed it. It was cute. He's fun to look at. Would I rush to watch it again? No, but I enjoyed it. The next one I did kind of like, and I would maybe watch it again. Maybe. It's another Christmas one. It's called Operation Christmas Drop, and I'm gonna look up the names of the cast members as well, because I don't remember their names, although I know both of them. So, who plays the main girl? Her name is Erica, and the actress's name is Kat Graham. I've definitely seen her before. And then the guy, he plays the main guy, the like love interest, is Alexander Ludwig. I have never seen him in anything other than he was in the Hunger Games. I remember from when I was younger, and he was obviously younger, and he didn't have like a big role. He was like the big, tall, blonde guy who was like big and strong, but he didn't really say much. Anyway, I had to like look it up because I knew he looked familiar. I just didn't know from what. Like, I don't think he's been in too many things. But anyway, so the synopsis, it's so much easier just to read it to you. Congregational aide Erica Miller lands at a beachside Air Force base where she clashes with Captain Andrew Jantz over his pet project, Operation Christmas Drop. So it's basically she goes to this military base, and she's there for like budgeting reasons, I believe. And he has this Operation Christmas Drop where they go up in a helicopter and they drop like supplies to these families who like don't have anything. They live like in little huts. I forget where it takes place. It's not in the United States, it's somewhere else. But yeah, these families who don't have anything, so they spend money and use resources to drop these things to the families. And of course she gets there, and at first she's like, I'm against this, like we can't do this, blah blah blah, it's like a waste. And then she meets some of the families and she gets to know him, and then she starts to, you know, want to participate. And then her job hour, right? So whatever. I enjoyed it a lot. Take another sip here. The girl, I've seen her before too, like the main actress, and I always get her kind of confused with Christina Milian, I think you say her name. They just, I don't know, they look kind of similar. I don't know. Also, what do we think? I know my last video was in the same setup too, not to get sidetracked, but what do we think about it? I kind of like it. It's cozy and I like the natural lighting. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna have to refill in a second. The next one I've been thoroughly enjoying. This one is on Hulu. And it is called A Teacher. And Hulu a lot of times does it where every once a week they'll release a new episode. And so every Tuesday for the last, I want to say 2 months, I think all of November and all of December it was, every Tuesday a new episode came out. So all the episodes are there now if you want to go watch it. It's only 10 episodes and it is called A Teacher. It is starring Kate Mara and Nick Robinson, who are also two people that you probably recognize if you saw them, if you're like me and you're really bad with names. So it is called A Teacher, and it is basically about a teacher named Claire who teaches in high school, and she becomes involved with one of her students. Now, I have never been so frustrated watching a show. Her character is just so dumb. And it's funny because these things they happen sometimes. So it's so weird because you watch it and you're like, really? You're gonna do that right now? That's dumb. Don't do that. That was me the whole time. But she starts this relationship with this young boy. I think he's a senior. So he's 18, but he's still her student. And they think that they become, they think that they fall in love, and she's married, mind you. And, she eventually has to deal with the repercussions of it, and he, tries to move on with his life, and it's just, the last episode was, I think, my favorite one, because it really did tie everything together, and I was curious as to whether they were going to leave it open for a second season. I don't think so. They pretty much wrapped it up there. I don't think there will be a second season, and I saw at the end that it was actually based off of a book, so if there are no more books, then there's not going to be a second season. But I think they wrapped it up very nicely. There was for the viewer, there was closure, which was good. So I 100% recommend the series. It may be a little frustrating to watch at times, but it's good. It's entertaining, and I liked it. The acting was very good. You may see a couple people in the show that you may recognize, which I always like. So again, that is Hulu. It's 10 episodes. Most of the episodes, I think, are 21, 22 minutes. The last one is a little longer. I think it's a half an hour. But if you're going to watch it just from the beginning, you'll get through it really quickly. So yeah, so that is A Teacher. I'm going to pour myself another glass here. Alright. Okay. The next one I actually really liked as well. It is called Grand Army. I believe this is a Netflix original as well, and it kept getting recommended to me, and I kept putting it off. I was like, okay, maybe I'll get to it eventually. And one day I finally sat down. I took a break from whatever show I was watching at the time, I don't remember, and I was like, alright, let's just try it. And I didn't finish it all in one shot, but I did finish it pretty quickly. night. So if it's only like one season of a show, like I can get through it pretty quickly. I guess I'm a good binge watcher. I don't know. So I did get through this one just in a few days. It's only one season. I don't remember how many episodes there are necessarily. But it's set in a high school called Grand Army Academy. I don't remember. It's been a little while since I watched it, but it's set in a school, and it kind of gave me 13 Reasons Why vibes, for those of you who watched that show, which I also loved, and I've talked about that in previous Netflix videos. But it talks about like real struggles that, you know, these high school kids are having, and it dives into really sensitive topics. And I will say there's one topic, it's the topic of sexual abuse, and there is one scene that is a little hard to watch. It's like mid season 1, like mid to late season 1. It was a little hard to watch, especially like as a female. So just like a little warning for you, but it's not that bad, but it can be a little hard to watch. But I think that it's important it's an important discussion to have, I'll just say. And I like shows that talk about real topics. Like, I remember when I was in high school and people were crazy. Now, like 7, 8, 9 years later, it is so much worse. Like, these kids, and it starts in like junior high school now. Like, kids are crazy. Not all, but the things that go on. So I think it's an important discussion to have. The acting, so good. Like, that's like a big thing for me. Like, if the acting isn't believable, I'm like, I can't do it. The acting like captivated me. You know what, let me see. Let me open my Netflix app and I'm gonna look it up because I want to see how many episodes there are. I love this phone. If you saw my unboxing video a couple months ago, I love it, but it is huge. Typing with one hand is really hard. So there are 9 episodes. They are all pretty much on average 50 minutes long. The last one is an hour and 12 minutes, so it's a little long, but it's really good. I really enjoyed it. It takes place in New York, Brooklyn, specifically, I believe, and I really liked it. So if you're into like high school based shows, if you liked 13 Reasons, I think you'll like it. It really is like, it's captivating and it's good. I really liked it. So that is Grand Army. The next one, this one's like a mini one. If you have TikTok or anything, you may have heard of this. It's like a little mini short animation. It is, I think it's like 8 minutes long or 10 minutes long. Let me look. Okay, yeah, so it's 12 minutes long. I'll show you if you can see. It's called If Anything Happens, I Love You. And it says, grieving parents journey through an emotional void as they mourn the loss of a child in the aftermath of a tragic school shooting. So the whole thing is animated, and it goes through the different phases of them like dealing with their grief. And basically the thing behind it, this became very popular because I saw it on TikTok, and a bunch of people were trying to watch it without crying. Like, that was the challenge, was to see if you could get through it without crying. I could not. I know some people I know watched it and cried. Some people I know made it through and like almost cried, but didn't necessarily. I cried. There was like one specific point, I think it was like halfway through, I was like, I can't do it. It's just when you start talking about babies, and then you start talking about like animals and like the family pet, and then just like the overall meaning of the whole thing. So it's only 12 minutes, so I would encourage all of you, if you have Netflix, pause this video or maybe do it tomorrow and go watch it. And then I want you to either comment on this video or message me on Twitter or just tweet me or DM me on Instagram and tell me if you cried. I want to know if you passed the challenge or not. It's only 12 minutes. You could take 12 minutes out of your day. Maybe. I don't know if you actually can, but if you can, go watch it and tell me how it goes for you. The next one is what I'm currently still watching. I'm watching Dawson's Creek, which I believe started, I want to say 1990. I want to see when it started. 1990. Oh, okay, I was very far off. 1998 it started. It's kind of got 90210 vibes. And it's about a boy named Dawson who, he's in high school. He's got parent problems. His parents, have marriage issues. He has one of his closest friends that he's been friends with for a long time, that they are, attracted to each other, and so they have to kind of navigate through, are we friends, are we more than friends, can we handle anything more than friends? And then, there are other friends in their friend group, and they're dealing with normal teenage stuff. So there are, I believe, 6 seasons. I am on the 3rd season. I'm like halfway, maybe more towards the beginning of the 3rd season. I'm slowly making my way through. This is the show that I have paused a couple times. Like, I paused it to watch, well, A Teacher Doesn't Really Count. I paused it to watch, like, Grand Army and the next show that I'm going to talk about. So I've taken a couple of breaks from it, and I had this problem with 90210. I don't know if it's that it's an older show and the pace is a little different, if that makes sense, than like shows today. So I don't know if it's that if I get a little bored as I watch. There's a spider right there. Okay, I'm not gonna freak out. I'm just gonna let him do his thing. I'm right by like a really big window, so I guess he came through the window somehow. Anyway, we're just gonna let him chill there. It's fine. It's the same room that I did my Christmas tree tour when I found that other spider, so I guess this is a spider room. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I've paused it a couple times, and I guess it's because I get a little bit bored, but I am gonna finish it. I do like it. I think I just need to take breaks here or there. If you watch it, my favorite character is Pacey. Now, in the beginning of the show, he annoyed the crap out of me, but now I really like Pacey. Especially in the 2nd season, he really showed up and impressed me. So Pacey right now I really like. And James Van Der Beek plays Dawson, and he was on Dancing with the Stars, so that's how I know him, and he freaking killed it. I was like, dang, move those hips, boy. Anyway, he was really good on that show, so that's how I know who he is. So I like it. And what's her name? Katie Holmes is the main girl, Dawson's friend that I was talking about. So when she was a little baby, she was very young. So yeah, I like it. I'll get through it eventually. The next one I watched was Selena the Series on Netflix. It was a Netflix original, and it basically tells the story of Selena, the Hispanic singer. She was a Mexican-American singer. And I grew up listening to some of her songs. Half my family is Puerto Rican, so We would listen to her every now and then. My aunt and my mom love the movie, the one with J-Lo, the Selena movie. And I remember watching that many times when I was younger, so I already knew the story of her. But yeah, the series goes more in depth of her life, her family's life, how her band started. And it shows her father really well. I think her father was very hard on her and her siblings and their band, but the show shows that he really did like bend over backwards for them and like to make their band like everything that it was and make it so amazing. So I really enjoyed it. It's Selena, I believe they're calling it like part 1 or episode 1. Let me see how many episodes there were. I want to say 8 because I feel like most Netflix originals are like 8 or 9. How many episodes are there? 9. Okay, see, that's what I said. And it stars, what's her name? I don't have it right here in front of me, but she was in the Twilight movies when she was a little baby. She played Selena, and I think she freaking killed it. She looks so good, so good. I don't think it was her singing, but I don't actually know that for sure. But she did really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love Selena. I like the story of her fascinates me. I'm not gonna like give anything away, but this first, I'm just gonna call it a season. The first season ends with like a not like a foreshadowing, but yeah, kind of like dipping the toes into the story of how she dies, and you only will know that if you know the story of Selena and how she lost her life and because of who. So it kind of ends like that, so that leads me to believe that there will be a second part. I hope so. I want there to be a second part. And the cast was really good. The guy who plays Caesar's older brother on my block plays Pete, who was in Selena's band, so he's in it. He looks so different, but he was really good in it too. Yeah, so if you like Selena, if you liked the movie, and you know, even if you just know who she is, you don't have to know her music. It's all like in English. I don't know if I have to say that, but it's all in English, so you don't have to worry about that. Some of the songs are in Spanish though, and I just love it. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. So that is Selena. The next one is A California Christmas, and I don't remember the actors' names off the top of my head, but they together were in another movie about a cowboy. I don't remember, it was in my last Netflix video, but the two actors essentially met on the set of that first movie, and then they got married afterwards, and they're like a real life couple now, which I think is cute. They're both beautiful, and they did this movie together, and so that was the main reason I watched it, just because I wanted to see like, I don't know, them like work together again. I'm gonna be very honest with you, it's a really bad movie. Like I said, it's called like California Christmas. The acting, not that great. I would say he's better than she is. She's like, just like, she has that very generic, cheesy style of acting. I don't know how to describe it. So not my favorite. Basically, he's like a big lawyer, like works for a lawyer firm, and he goes to her farm and pretends to be like a stable hand and gets a job there, but he's really there to like help sell their property and all that stuff. And so, you know, eventually they, you know, start to get feelings for each other, but then she figures out who he is, and then I won't spoil the ending for you. I mean, it's cute, it's worth watching, but don't expect anything like super great. So two more. I did watch Bridgerton, which is like blowing up right now. I won't say too much about it in case anyone is watching it / wants to watch it. I did watch Bridgerton. It's really good. The guy who plays the main lead, I don't know the actor's name. I had never seen him before. He's great. Also nice to look at, so that's good. The one thing that stuck out to me was throughout the series, I don't know if anyone picked up on this, but the music was all instrumental versions and classical versions of today's music. The only one that comes to mind right now is a Shawn Mendes song, but they take the melody and they make it into a classical song. So that was there during all of their fancy balls, during the love scenes. So I did pick up on that, which I thought was kind of cool. It was very creative. The show, like I said before, it's blowing up right now. I think they've already been picked up for a second season. I know that the series is based on a book series as well. There are maybe, I want to say 4 books or 5, which I didn't know. My friend actually sent me, because she's watching it too, or she finished it already. She sent me a TikTok of someone who posted all of the books in the series. So I don't really have a desire to read all of the books, but I did really like the show. Part of me feels like I need to rewatch it because it was a show that I had on while I did other things, which is not the way to watch this particular show. You actually do have to pay attention. I paid attention, but I don't know, my friend was saying a couple things to me about the show that I didn't it didn't ring a bell, and I was like, oh, I might have missed that. So I may rewatch it, but from what I've seen, I really liked it, and I'm very excited for the second season whenever that comes. It's probably going to be in a year or so. But I really did like it. It's good. It's got the drama, it's got the romance, it's got, the love scenes if you're into that. It's well rounded. I really liked it. The acting was great. I don't remember the girl's name who plays the main girl, but also I meant to look it up. Is it narrated? Does anyone know? Is it narrated by Julie Andrews? Because if not, then whoever's narrating it literally sounds just like her. So, okay, and then I have one more, which I recently watched 2 days ago. It is a movie on Netflix, and it's called Loving. So now, let me read you the synopsis. It says a young couple's interracial marriage in 1958 sparks a case that leads to the Supreme Court, based on the true story of Richard and Mildred Loving. Now, I remember learning about them in definitely high school. I don't know if they taught it to us in middle school as well. I don't remember. But I remember it so vividly because I remember it's the last name that stood out to me. I remember being younger and being wow, their last name is Loving. That's so cute. Those were my thoughts back when I was 14, 15. So I always remember learning about their case. So if you are not aware, their case was brought to the Supreme Court to fight the mistreatment that they were getting, because he is a white man and she is a black woman, and where they were living, especially in that time, 1958, it was not allowed legally. And so, they fall in love and they get married, and then they get arrested, and they're for what? And it's just so crazy to think that that was the reality back then. It's still to my mind, to this day, it just blows my mind. So yeah, it follows their journey with see here, it came out in 2016. It is rated PG-13, and it is 2 hours and 3 minutes long, so like 2 hours. And Joel Edgerton plays Richard, and Ruth Negga plays Mildred. Her, I don't think I'd ever seen before. Him, I've seen multiple times, but they made him look so different. And it is directed by Jeff Nichols. So, if you're into like movies that are based on true stories, which I am, and even at the end of this movie, right before the credits, you know how if it's a movie that's based on a true story, they'll have some some passages to read about like what happened afterwards and blah 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 blah. It even had some things that I don't remember ever learning when I was younger that I found really interesting. So yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, you may like it, and it's really just, it was just a good movie. It was a good film. And it's another topic, like I said, that it just like blows my mind. It really does. I feel like that's like an important case, like their Supreme Court case. I feel like that's an important one for people to know and to like be knowledgeable about. So yeah, that one is called Loving. It is on Netflix. I don't believe it's a Netflix original, but it's on Netflix. So I think that is all I'm going to touch on today. I finished my second glass. I don't really want a third glass, so I have that much left of the bottle, so we're just gonna keep that off to the side for now. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Again, I will try to remember to leave the link down below to the playlist if you want to watch my other Netflix videos. There are quite a few now at this point. And if it's not there, then that just means I forgot. So just remind me and I'll put it there. So again, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best. I'm so excited to keep making videos for you this year in 2021. Like always, like I say at the end of all of these videos, if you have any shows or movies that I did not mention that you think I would like, leave them down below so that I can read them and everyone else can read them and we have more things to watch. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next